everybody. I'm Michelle, and I'm an interdisciplinary artist living in DC. I work in a variety of materials. You know, my background, I guess, really comes from traditional medias, painting, drawing, and stuff like that. And I've sort of been branching more into new media and interactive installations. But so in addition to talking about some of that interactive work that I've done and the piece that was at Artisphere, I also have just kind of been integrating scientific ideas into my work for a while. How do I, okay, so, and I think part of the reason I probably work, you know, integrating science, technology, and all these things into my work. My dad is a computer programmer and is an electrical engineer, and so is my mother. So I think that has a lot to do with it. I'm not sure how the artist, you know, resulted, but that's probably part of the reason my brain is wired the way it is. So this first piece, this is sort of an older work I did in 2008. It's called ART, Applied Research and Technology. And it was a multimedia installation that really started from this process in painting I had been working in called decalcomania, which is really just the process of taking paint and pushing it between two surfaces like plexiglass or something. And then when you pull it apart, it creates these fractal type patterns. And so when I was working in this painting technique, I really became obsessed with fractals. Part of this installation was to kind of understand, put those fractals and that idea, you know, under a microscope, I guess, and to really figure out why these shapes and these different types of things really spoke to me. And so it started, I'm going to pull up, where's the keyboard? How do I get to, sorry, tech person, the keyboard? Oh, okay. The video isn't working in here. Let's go out for a second. Okay. So this video I'll show really quick. I was playing with ink, and just by accident I dripped some ink on a plate, and I watched as it created these fractal shapes. And so then I decided to do stop motion animations recording these different fractal type forms. And as I kept doing them, they sort of looked to me like bacteria growing under a petri dish or some kind of living organism that, you know, needed its own life. And so that sort of prompted the installation to become this pseudo-science lab. I felt like the videos needed that kind of context, the way I was seeing them, in order to really have that kind of the message that I was going for. And I think in making that piece, let me go back to this slideshow real quick. Okay. And it's not letting, okay, there we go. So this is a close-up of some of the things that were in the lab. And so the videos, the one that I just showed you, it was shown in these sort of toy microscopes that I had found. And I sort of reappropriated them so that they looked like they were analyzing something or doing something. So I think part of these found objects, these toys that I started gathering, I think that sort of led me to really think about this idea of play And so I introduced a couple of different interactive components to the piece. As you can see, there's gloves on the table so that these Petri dishes, people could kind of look at them under the light, over the light box and just kind of explore. And then one of the other interactive elements was a microscope, which I had fitted with a live camera feed, so that when people looked into it, the piece would look back at them. And so, in a way, when I was thinking about that, it's sort of related to this fractal idea, because in a way, you know, a fractal is a self-similar shape, and it creates this loop, you know. And so I was thinking about the video loop as another extension of, you know, it's like I guess a video fractal. As I was working on this piece, it was really, I kept coming across different discoveries that would lead me to something else and prompt me to think about something else. And this is another view of the eye. As I was looking into fractals and bacteria, I came across the work of Eshel Ben Jacob, who is a physicist at the Tel Aviv Institute in Israel. And I found these images online, and these are actually bacterial colonies that he had been researching how bacteria communicates and the way they sort of organize and make decisions together. They can create these kind of patterns. And it was really kind of remarkable when I found them, because it looked so similar to the films that I was making. And so as I did more research, I have become more and more interested in just communication of bacterial and you know, single cell organism type, the way they make decisions with quorum sensing, which I'll talk about with the next piece. So the Petri dishes actually were inspired by his images that I had found. And I did reach out to him, and he gave me permission to use them. So, all right. And then the next piece. So this was the part where you could kind of play with the spectron light analysis box. Is the name I gave it. Right, another video. So I'm going to just show you the video really quick of the installation that was at Artisphere. The piece is called Social Network. And I'll just... So the way the piece works, there's 10 orbs, and each one has a PIR motion sensor and a set of speakers, so that when it detects motion, it will play these voices. And so the idea behind this piece comes out of the discoveries I made with the previous installation about this idea of quorum sensing and this bacterial communication. I think I was watching like a TED Talk about how bacteria send these signals and receive these signals, kind of saying, hey, I'm here, are you there? And so then I thought about, the idea was a very like sort of romantic idea for me, and so I wanted to create this sort of visual representation of that. But in a way, it also speaks to how our social networks really have, proliferated, is that, with every tweet, every post, we are in a way saying, I'm here, are you there? And we want responses, and we want people to like things that we've said or posted. There's another view of it. And there's a close-up of the orb. And actually, the orbs themselves are hamster exercise balls that I put plaster and resin on top of. I wanted this, nice contained shape, and hamster exercise balls are really good for that. So when I started the piece, I kind of had no idea how I was going to make it work. In my head, I saw, this interactivity, but I didn't really have a lot of information how I would actually do it. I found a lot of little as seen on TV type devices that would let you record maybe 7 seconds of audio or something, and then, play when it detected motion. But the audio was so poor that I had to figure out a different way. And so I luckily was able to find someone who helped me put this together. So, and his name is Sean Phillips, and he is an audio engineer at NPR. And so he told me sort of what equipment I needed to get, and then created the social network program, which runs through an Arduino device. And then it's also routed to an audio interface and amps. So there's a lot of wiring going on. Oh, this is Sean. I guess I'll go back to the actual view of the installation. The end result was, really, I think, very successful. I think a lot of people were sort of caught off guard as they would walk under it. A lot of people told me that they really thought someone was talking to them. And then, in a way, when you're in the middle of the piece, it creates this, for a minute there, you want to answer or you want to respond to them. And so I think that's a really interesting way that this interaction takes place. And I like that, along with the previous piece I did, this element of play really is still part of it, because in a way these shapes, they're very friendly looking, and a lot of people like to I saw a lot of people running through them and playing with them like they were a toy or something. So I really enjoyed that. And so since making this piece, I've taken the Arduino programming course, which Max mentioned at WPA. And so I'm starting to think about some new work, employing more interactive technologies and things like that. I currently, since the Artisphere show, I have a piece that's at the DC Art Center, and it's also it's a smaller interactive installation. I don't have a photo of it, but it's a telephone which you pick up, and then you can hear the audio of someone talking to you in the language of spam, which from these spam emails that I was receiving that were sort of nonsensical sentences, I had somebody read them as if they were having a conversation in that spam language. So I guess that's all I have, but thank you.